Hey guys, welcome back to Magic TV. My name's Craig. It's 9 o'clock on a Monday, which means it's time for a 5x5. Now, this is where I take 5 subjects related to magic. I spend 5 minutes talking about each subject, and then I move on. It's quick, it's snappy, you never know what you're going to get. And the 5x5s out of every single thing on this channel are the most eclectic videos. One day I'll be doing a tutorial, one day I'll be doing live performances, one day I'll be speaking about another performer, and they're really fun. I know a lot of people say that they're their favourite videos on Magic TV. And today I'm going to do something that I've never done before. Over the last 3 weeks, and especially in the last week, I've had a whole bunch of people reach out to me via comments on YouTube, via various different message platforms, and even email, asking my opinions on the same names over and over again that have come up for various different reasons in the Magic community. And they want to know, hey, what do you think of this person? He said this. What do you think of this person? He said this. And normally when I get my opinion asked on somebody, it's because it's something that somebody has done negatively. Maybe the community aren't happy with a particular person or a particular thing that they've done, and they want to know my take on it. And I don't really do rants on the channel very often these days. It's like a once in a blue moon thing, and this isn't going to be a rant. But I thought, as I've had so many people ask me about the same 5 names over and over again, it would make total sense to make a 5x5 out of it. So this week's 5x5 are 5 people in the Magic community and what I think about what they've been doing recently. So for everybody that's been messaging me or commenting on videos, asking my opinion on this, here you go. You asked, I've delivered. So let's get straight into it with Justin Flom. So anybody that's been on this channel for any length of time will know that I've done videos on Justin Flom in the past, and I've not always been positive about the stuff that he does. In fact, I've been very negative about it. And the reason I've been very negative about it is because, honestly, I don't believe or agree in the stuff that he's been doing, basically since he kind of turned his back on Magic. And I don't agree with what he's been doing. Now, for those of you that don't know, Justin Flom was almost like the darling of the Magic community. He's the guy that everybody looked up to. He was an incredible performer. He would travel the world doing his show. He had released Magic with Vanishing Ink card artistry. At the time, was one of the biggest things that came out. And being associated with Vanishing Ink makes you like a superstar in this industry anyway. And then one day he, around about when the pandemic started, he kind of turned his back on Magic, started making videos with Rick Lax, and doing videos on his own as well. A lot of those videos focused on exposure, and really, really bad exposure as well. Not just a little bit of exposure, but really bad exposure. And that's what he's continued to do to this day. And it's kind of almost like this movement going over into the dark side. And, he came from, I think he's a second generation magician. His dad was a magician. So to see him go from where he was to where he now is was very disheartening, right? And I've done a rant on him in the past as well, because I saw him expose a particular prop that I use in my show. And so why are people asking my opinion on him now? Well, the reason is Hanson Chen on his YouTube channel has just done an interview with Justin Flom. And it was about a 30-minute interview, and a lot of people sent me this video going, hey, what do you think about what Justin Flom's saying? Hey, what do you think of this interview with Justin Flom? A lot of people tagging me in and so on and so forth, asking questions on the YouTube channel. What do I think of Justin Flom and his interview with Hanson Chen? Now, I want to be very careful. I want to be very, very careful, because at Magic Live, I don't know if you guys know, I was working the Penguin booth, and Rick Lax, Justin's partner in crime, came up to me and said, hey, stop making content about me. He didn't like the fact that I'd mentioned him on podcasts, I've mentioned him on videos. Stop making content about me, which is the single most ridiculous thing in the world, considering that he's making content all of the time, and you can't be in the public eye without people kind of making videos about you. I know that only full well. I have people making videos about me all of the time. But Rick, if you're watching this, this is not about you. This is my opinion on Justin. What do I think of the video that Justin did? You know what? It's annoying because Justin came across as a very charismatic guy on that video. If you haven't seen it, it's on Hanson Shen's YouTube channel. Go and check it out. He came across as a very charismatic guy, which is what you would expect, because he wouldn't have got to the position he's got to without being a charismatic guy. He came across as a charismatic guy. He came across as very nice. In fact, I'll even go so far as to say some of the advice that he was giving was incredible advice. When he talked about creativity and he talked about sharing ideas out there and tricking your body into thinking creativity is not a big thing, I thought that was a great concept. I completely agree with him on that. When he was talking about algorithms and he was talking about creating content, and when he was talking about creating viral videos, you can tell that this is something that Justin takes seriously. He really does. And a lot of the information on that video, if you are a up-and-coming content creator and you want to create content, or you're a creator in general, that is an interview that's absolutely worth watching. My issue with the video and with what Justin does in general is the exposure thing. Now, I've talked in the past about how exposure is something that magicians shouldn't really get riled up about, and I do believe that. I think that even short-form content, if somebody sees an exposure of a video, which is Justin does a lot of short form content, and I really believe if you see something exposed and somebody sees it on a YouTube Shorts or an Instagram Reel or a For You page on what do you call it? What do you call that platform? I've completely forgotten the platform. What's that one that everybody goes on? The platform with the dancing and the lip syncing. Oh my God, my brain is TikTok. What is wrong with me today? If you see a shorts video on something like TikTok or YouTube or Instagram or Facebook or whatever it may be, they're going to take it in. They might watch it. They might watch it a couple of times. But I don't think in a week's time or a month's time or even a day's time, it's going to be something that they remember. And the case in point with that is, when was the last time you scrolled through TikTok and watched about 30 videos back to back? You couldn't probably remember one of those videos now. If I asked you to describe a video that you watched this morning, you wouldn't be able to. If I asked you to describe a video that you watched scrolling through 30 or 40 pieces of short form content from last week, it's very unlikely unless you've got an interest in the subject matter. So obviously, when somebody like Justin Flom exposes a trick, magicians are going to remember that and going to get riled up by that. So I do believe that magicians in general get too stressed out about exposure. Having said that, I do think what Justin Flom is doing is completely wrong. I've seen some of his content, and some of the content that he produces is fine. My issue is the stuff that he does when he's exposing magic. I think that if you love magic as much as you say you do, you shouldn't do that. I really don't think you should do that. Now people are going to say, well, Craig, you do the odd tutorial on your channel, and yes, I do, but that's a 30-minute video, and I'm normally going into depth, and it's not a 30-second video that's designed just to get millions of views. That's what Justin's doing. He's using this. He even says so in the interview. Hey, I perform magic on social media in a very different way, because he says magic is normally about the finale, but on a short form content video, you have to have that moment right at the very beginning to grab their attention. So he's turned it on its head, and I don't think it's good at all. I really don't. Like, I did a 5-minute search on the internet for stuff that Justin Flom has exposed. He's exposed just in 5 minutes. I saw him expose the crystal casket multiple times, and not just in a clever way. It wasn't in a clever way that he was exposing the crystal casket. He literally just had a video of 2 kids getting into the base and then covering it up with a cloth and then pulling the cloth off, and the kids were there. It wasn't even it wasn't even a clever way of exposing the crystal casket. He was just exposing it. That is the opening illusion for almost every illusion act I know. I've been doing an illusion act for over a decade, and that is my opening illusion. I open with the crystal casket. I don't like the fact that the crystal casket has been exposed. He was exposing multiple things, so many different things he was exposing. Some marketed effects, some non-marketed effects. Everything was being exposed. And I don't agree with that at all. Now, the argument that Justin used was the most insane, ridiculous argument I've ever heard. It was just ridiculous. So his argument was magicians always hate magicians who eventually become beloved by the community. And he said, he pointed towards Doug Henning and said everyone hated Doug Henning. And then Copperfield came along and everybody said, oh, we like Doug Henning, but we hate Copperfield. And then David Blaine came along and everyone was like, oh, we hate David Blaine because he just uses simple tricks and quarters that bite out quarters and stuff. We hate David Blaine, but that Copperfield guy, we like Copperfield. And he said that he's just the latest in a long line of magicians that people hate, but at some point in the future, magicians are going to love him. And I couldn't disagree with that more. I could not disagree with that more. Maybe, the thing with the magic community is they can be very negative. They can be. But here's the thing, like you're doing something, Justin, that no other magician has done. You're exposing magic online for millions of people to see. That's what you're doing. And you're not even exposing it in a, hey, let me educate you. You want to learn how to do magic. Let me sit down with you and teach you how to do this stuff. It's not that. It's short form content exposure. It's, hey, I'm going to show you how this trick works, and hopefully that will get me a few million views. That's what you're doing. And the cardinal rule of magicians is don't give away the secrets. Now, I'm all for the doors to the magic. I don't feel that like we should be as hardcore with secret keeping as we are, but I think people should work for it in order to get those secrets. I don't think it should just be handed to them on a silver platter, and that's what you're doing. You're taking people who have no interest in magic at all, and you're literally just grabbing them as they're scrolling through, and they're stopping and they're watching you expose this trick that other magicians use in their act. And then they're scrolling off. There's nothing clever about that. Let's be honest. Let's call a spade, right? Let's call a spade. You're not doing it to further the art of magic. You're not doing it so that at some point in the future, magicians will realize that you're actually a god and you will be the greatest and most beloved magician in the world. You're doing it to line your own pockets. You say that yourself. You said from 2000 to 2003, from 2020 to 2023, you made more money with online content creation than you ever could have in any other job, including a magician. I genuinely believe that you loved magic, and if you were able to make more money doing magic than you were creating content online, then I think you would have gone and done that. But the fact is that you're doing this because it is a way of making more money, and I can respect that in a way. I'm a business owner. I spend a lot of time thinking about growth and thinking about market strategy. I spend a lot of time thinking about that. So I can respect the fact that you have come into an industry and you have found a niche and you have dominated it. You and a couple of other select people have dominated the industry. I can respect the fact that you have taken magic and turned it on its head and made it profitable outside of performing it for live people. I get that. What I disagree with is that you are ever going to be beloved in this industry, because you're not. Because the cardinal rule, and that's never going to change, is never expose how magic is done. Never expose how magic is done. And that's what you're doing. And to stand there, I'm not going to rant. I'm not going to rave. I'm not going to call you out. I'm not going to slag you off. That's not what this video is about. This video is saying that I really wish you wouldn't do that. I really do, because I feel like you've got so much to offer magic, and you're a very clever guy. You're very intelligent and you're very switched on. I can tell that. And I'm a comic book fan. So you turning your back on the magic community, which in a way you are, it's why so many people hate you, and going and creating content and exposing tricks that other people use to pay their bills, you doing that is almost the equivalent of Captain America going and becoming Captain Hydra. It's a big blow to the community. It really is. And I really wish you'd wake up and realize exactly what it is that you're doing. And I don't think you will. As long as you're making money from it, I don't think you will. And it was kind of interesting in the interview to see, hey, you kind of almost let your guard down for a minute, and it was like, hey, don't take my videos, and do anything with my videos. Don't take my videos and put them up online under your own channel, because I will come after you and I will shut you down. You have been warned, was kind of the thing that you went through. But that you obviously don't like that. That's obviously happened to you. Somebody taking your videos and putting them up online and repurposing them as their own content. That's obviously happened to you, and you've lost money, and money has been taken out of your pocket because of that. And I can tell that's pissed you off. Well, that's how the entire magic community feels about you right now. It feels like you're taking money out of the pockets of creators. You're taking money out of the pockets of production companies, and you're taking money out of the pockets of people that are using the tricks that you're exposing to pay the bills. That's how they feel. And you say one day that people will look at me and realize that I'm actually a good guy. I don't think they will. You're never going to look at those people that are repurposing your content and think, actually, they were the good guys, I was wrong. You're never going to say that. What you're doing is wrong if you consider yourself to be a magician. I don't have a problem with you teaching. I don't have a problem with you doing tutorials and helping the next generation of magicians. I do have a problem with the short form content. And like I said right at the very beginning, I don't think this is going to have a major impact on anybody. I really don't. I don't think your videos will have a major impact on anybody. And I think that even if somebody's, I do the crystal casket in every single illusion show to open my illusion show. Nobody has ever come up to me and said, I saw this magician online, and I know how that first trick's done because he exposed it. That's never happened, right? So I don't think it's going to be an issue, really, to be perfectly honest. But I just think I really think you should wake up and smell the coffee, because you're a smart guy, and the fact that you're doing this, I'm all for you creating content, but I wish you'd do it the right way. Okay, so the second person that I keep getting asked about is Hanson Chen. And the reason people are asking me about Hanson Chen is because Hanson was the person that put the video interview up with Justin in the first place. And, he got quite a lot of backlash about it. He got a lot of people to the point that in his Facebook group, he had to put a post up saying, hey, I just did the interview. If you guys don't like it, well, I'm very sorry about that. But, I wanted to put the video up. So I did. But he got a lot of backlash. And the reason he got a lot of backlash is because he was giving Justin Flom a platform. Now, this is somebody who the entire community looks at as an exposer of magic. He rightly or wrongly, the entire community are not the biggest fan of Justin Flom. And here Hanson is giving him a platform in which to actually speak about what he's done. And a lot of people are very annoyed about very annoyed with Hanson Chen, very annoyed with the fact that this video went up. And people were asking me, what's my opinion of Hanson Chen? My opinion is very simple. Look, if I was Hanson Chen, I wouldn't have put this video up. There are people in the Facebook group that have commented that have said, I'm not going to start shop with you again. I'm not going to support any of your products because you are supporting a thief. You are supporting somebody who is exposing magic. How would you feel? And honestly, that post that went up in his Facebook group, I actually commented on there. I was very, very annoyed. When I started watching the video, I was really annoyed. I was like, why the hell is Hanson giving this guy a platform? And I still don't think that Hanson should have done it. But the reason I don't think Hanson should have done it is because I don't think it's a good thing for him to do for his business. And I know that all publicity is good publicity. Eric Bischoff, controversy creates cash, woo-woo. I do believe that in many, many ways, but I think being associated with Justin Flom, when you are a content creator for magicians and a magic producer for magicians, I don't think that's necessarily a good thing. But hey, it was Hanson's decision to do that, so it is what it is. Now, I would have preferred because here's the thing, if Justin Flom reached out to me and said, could I do an interview on Magic TV? I would say absolutely yes, 100%. But the interview would have been very different to the interview that went up on Hanson's channel. because it very much would have been a case of me bringing up a lot of stuff that the community have issues with and getting him to talk about it and challenging him on certain points. Hanson barely spoke. So I think if Hanson had been more forthright and more championing the Magic community and being almost like the voice of the voiceless, another reference for wrestling now, if he'd been kind of the voice of the voiceless and he'd been like, look, you're pissing off the whole of the Magic community, people don't like your videos. Okay, so justify this then. Justify exposing the crystal casket. Okay, justify exposing this trick here. This is marketed by Joel Miranda and you literally exposed it for no reason whatsoever. This astounding bottle, this is something that John Archer has used on Britain's Got Talent to get through to the semi-finals. Millions of magicians use it all around the world. Can you please justify exposing that in a 30-second video? Can you please justify exposing that? Why is that okay? Why is it okay? Why do you think magicians are going to like it? If he'd been more forthright and if he'd been more tough, I think that nobody would have actually said anything. I think it's the fact that he just gave Justin a platform and he let him go. I think that's the issue that people have. That's the issue that I had. Before I watched the interview, my issue was, hang on a minute, this is Justin Flom. What the hell are we doing giving him a platform? He doesn't need a platform. He's got his own platform. You know, he's just going to sit there and make excuses. When I watched the interview, I was like, yeah, actually, he is making excuses. But like I said, there's a lot of really good content. There's a lot of really good information that Justin was giving out. He was talking about creativity. That was really good. He was talking about algorithms and content creation. And all of that was good. There was a lot of really good advice in there. And I'm questioning how many people that are annoyed with Hanson for putting this video up watch the interview. Because when I watched the interview, I calmed down a bit, to be perfectly honest. I was less annoyed because I was like, okay, there's a lot of content on that. I disagree with a lot of the stuff Justin's saying about, he's going to be heralded as a hero in the future, or, hey, I'm fine with exposing magic because of this, or I'm fine with exposing magic because of that, and, you know, whatever the case may be. But overall, I thought it was an interesting video. And that's what content creation is all about. It's all about putting stuff out there, that people are interested in, that makes them sit and watch it. And that's what's happening now. You're sitting here watching this video. I've put a video up and you're watching it. It's my opinion on what's going on in the community at the moment. I got nothing else to say about that. I don't think Hanson's done anything wrong. And I've pulled Hanson out on some crazy bullshit he's done in the past, in all honesty, but I don't think he's done anything wrong in this case. I think in this case he's perfectly in the right to do what he's done. And it's not like he's supporting Justin. It's not like he's saying, I agree with Justin Flom at all. So, I will say on that interview as well, one thing I found interesting is that Justin said he's trying to write a show that takes his approach to performing magic online and turns it into a live experience. That is something I'd very much like to see. I hope it's not an exposer fest on stage, and I hope it's a little bit more intelligent, but knowing how clever Justin is, this might be the thing that tips the scales. Anyway, so there you go. That's my opinion on Hanson Chen. Let's move on. Okay, so I don't want to spend too much time on this one because I've been avoiding talking about this guy for the last couple of years, maybe longer, but so many people have messaged me and shown me videos because I'm blocked. I can't see the guy. Maxim from somewhere up in Canada, who is the creator of GigaCube and TetraCube and so on and so forth, has just put another live video up online. Calling me every name under the sun, to be perfectly honest. And people want to know my opinion. I literally had, I was backstage in Smoke and Mirrors, and I had literally about 20-25 people WhatsApp me, message me. I had multiple people screen capture the video of him talking about me and send it over to me. Oh, what's your opinion on this? What's your opinion on this? Now, if you don't know the backstory, and I'm not going to go into the backstory, I don't need to go into the backstory. Maxim doesn't like me, and I could do a really long video explaining why he doesn't like me and I could break it down and I could show you screen captures of everything. I don't want to. I really don't want to. The latest video that's gone up is Maxim saying that me and the entire magic community is retarded. That's his words, not mine. And the entire creator community is failing, and that he is a million times better than any of the big production companies that produce content and produce magic tricks, and he's winning and they're losing, and he's winning despite the fact not having a great couple of years and not having much money and living in a tent and so on and so forth, and he's winning and but for some reason I'm the guy that he's specifically targeting. I'm the only person he mentions by name, but he's talking about creators in general, and people want to know my opinion on it. And look, here's the thing, he's been having a pop at me now for about 2 years, 2.5 years, and I've completely ignored him. Because that's what he wants. He wants me to mention him on Magic TV. I remember mentioning him on Magic TV once. I think it was during that whole Scott Perry thing earlier this year when me and Scott Perry were going back and forth. And I remember mentioning him in passing once. And he got really excited about it. And I think that's what he wants from me. He wants me to mention him. And just me making this video and talking specifically about him here, I know it's probably going to lead to another 20 or 30 videos. But I want to talk about him because, look, I've been there. If you're watching this, Maxim, I've been there. I've been that angry individual that's angry with the world. I have been the guy that wanted to burn the industry down. When I left the community over a decade ago, I would have happily seen the community go up in smoke. I was dumb, stupid, and I was angry with everybody. I was angry with the world, I was angry with the community, I was angry with World Magic Shop, I was angry with David Pitt. I was just angry in general with everybody and everything. And it took me a decade plus to grow up. It took me a long time to realize that I was in the wrong and the entire magic community was in the right. And look, I see your videos, or not all of them because I'm blocked, but I see the ones that people send me. And I see you're very angry. You're angry with the magic community. You're angry with me. And I think you're angry because you look at me and you think, oh, well, Craig's had this trick come out that everyone's bought, and Craig's had this trick come out and everyone's bought that. And, you know, oh, Craig's this person and he's won this award and that award and the other award. And it annoys you because you feel that I'm not a very good creator. You've said that yourself, right? You said that I've never created anything worth buying. You said that I've never once created a trick that has any value to the community at all. And here's the thing, you might be right. You might be right. But the bottom line is, sales figures say otherwise. If I wasn't selling anything, these production companies wouldn't continue to work with me. They wouldn't be coming and knocking down my door and begging me to work with them. That's happening because I'm putting out tricks that people like. Now, hey, maybe your tricks are better. Maybe they are. Maybe GigaCube is the greatest trick in the world. I don't know. I don't think it is, but, you know, you are obviously a creative guy. But what you need to do, man, is you need to calm down some. You can't go running around calling everyone retarded. You can't go running around screaming my name. Well, you can, but it's not going to do any good. It's not going to do anything for you. If you genuinely think I suck, I mean, this is the same argument that I had a few weeks ago. A few weeks ago, somebody said I'm overrated. And here's the thing. That's cool. For that guy to think I'm overrated, that means the entire community must rate me. You can't be overrated and be a nobody. If you're a nobody, you're just not rated, period. So by one person saying I'm overrated, that means the rest of the community rate me, right? Does that make sense? And how do I do that? I do that by working my butt off. I do that by being somebody that is super professional. You want to know why? You like spreading misinformation. I remember earlier this year you were like, oh, Craig, Betty gets invited to all of the Penguin Magic holidays, and Penguin and Murphy's are on is the same company. You've said so much crazy stuff over the years that I just completely and totally ignore, because frankly, it's nuts. But here's the thing. If you want to be considered an amazing creator, making videos where you're standing in your garden screaming and shouting about Penguin Magic and Vanishing Ink and Murphy's Magic, it's not the way to do that. Making videos, calling everyone out, looking kind of stressed out and not well, that's not the way to do that. And trust me, I've made videos like you have. I've sat here in front of a camera screaming and shouting, and you know what? It didn't do me any favors. It wasn't something that helped my career. It wasn't something that helped my brand. You want to know how to get ahead, and you know what? I know you're going to turn around and you're going to say Craig's talking bullshit, and that's absolutely fine. But I'm going to tell you how you get ahead, because you are a creative guy. You've got some amazing ideas. Here's what you do. Reinvent yourself. Focus on your brand. First of all, disappear for 3 or 4 months, right? I'm a fan of wrestling. I don't know if you know that. And a lot of the time when they're repackaging a wrestler, like if a wrestler's gimmick doesn't work, so they want to repackage him, that wrestler will go away for 3 or 4 months, and then they'll come back with an entirely new persona. Go away for 3 or 4 months. Get off social media. Use that time to create. Use that time to really hone your creativity, because you've got creativity in spades. Use it, man. Go away for a couple of months and then come back an entirely different brand, and focus on building that brand up. Rather than trying to tear things down, build things up. That's what I did. I came into this community, I came back to this community with a reputation that was in the gutter. People either didn't know who I was, or if they did know who I was, it was because they remembered Red or Wayne Dobson or Exposing Illusions, whatever the case may be. I was public enemy number 1 in this industry. You think that people don't like you? Oh my God, you weren't there back in the Wizard Product Review days. I was hated. It's why I left this community. And I came back with one goal and one goal in mind, which was to help everybody, help as many people as I can, put as much valuable advice out there as I can, show people that I know what I'm talking about. And that's one of the reasons that people buy my stuff. It's because I go out my way to help people in as many different ways that I can. So do the same. You've got a lot of experience, you've got a lot of knowledge, you've got a lot of creativity, use it. Set up a YouTube channel, not where you're ranting and raving about people, but where you're putting videos out about how to be more creative. Put videos out about how your creative process works, whatever you want to do. And then when you approach magic community and approach magic producers, and rather than tearing them down and publicly going on the internet talking about how terrible this company is, how terrible that company is, how terrible the other company is, rather than doing that, rather than trying to tear down these production companies, build them up, help them. That's what I do. I go, if somebody calls me up, if Penguin Magic call me up and they say they need something, I'm there in a heartbeat. If Murphy's call me up, I'm there in a heartbeat. Vanishing Ink, if they rang me up and said they wanted something, I'd help them out. I'll help anybody out. And when I'm there with them, I am the most wonderful person to work with. I will go the extra mile. I will literally put 150% in. I want them to think, wow, we've worked with a lot of people, but Craig Petty, that is the best person that we've ever worked with. We need to work with this guy again. And then build up your reputation to the whole magic community. And the moment people look at you and go, what the hell is wrong with this guy? Don't be in a situation where people look at you and go, what's wrong with this guy? Be in a situation where people go, oh, he's a genius. He's amazing. His tricks are fantastic. I can't wait to see what he's coming up with next. And here's the thing. It's so much easier to do a video where you stand in your back garden calling everyone names. It's so much easier to stand in your back garden telling everybody how you're amazing and how everybody else is terrible and it's not fair that you haven't had the shot that you deserve. It's so much easier to whine and moan and bitch and complain. That is the easy way out. It's so much harder to do what you need to do in order to build up a reputation that you can be proud of. But you can do it. Now it's totally up to you. I fully expect a video that somebody will send me calling me every name under the sun. And that's your prerogative. All I'm telling you is I got sent a video of your new trick with the remote control. I thought it was very good. I thought it was very, very good. It's what I would expect from you. You're a creative guy. Channel that. Go away. Take some time for yourself. Take a step back. Come back and reinvent yourself. Because I promise you, you say that you're changing the game. You say that you're taking over the industry. How? What? What measurable statistic are you using to say this? Because in every measurable way, you're not. You're just not. So take a step back. And if you really want to be a game changer, if you really want to make an impact in this industry, do it. But do it the right way. And please, 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 if you want to carry on making videos about me, do it. But, you know, find somebody else to moan at, because honestly, you know, you've been doing it now for like 2.5 years, and I'm ignoring you, and I will continue to ignore you, but surely you've got more important things to do with your life, man, so just get on with those. Okay, so the fourth person I get asked about all of the time is the Jerks, Andy the Jerks, Andy Jerksman, however you want to call him. If you haven't read Andy's blog or the Jerks blog, it's thejerks.com. And he has a blog that he's been writing for many, many years. I remember back in the day when he was the Magic Circle Jerks. But the last few years, he's been writing an online blog, producing content, producing tricks, producing effects, producing books. Very, very creative, and really building a name for himself within the magic community. And a lot of the stuff that he writes is completely free to read. And he gives a hell of a lot back to the magic community and comes up. It's very similar in some ways to what I'm doing, except he's way more intelligent, I think. Because, you know, except he's in written form as well. I'll do Q&As. He takes questions and does answers to questions like I do. He will, you know, he'll do reviews on various products. He'll give us opinion on stuff that's happening in the magic community. He'll do videos talking about ideas and about tricks and so on and so forth. So there's a parallel in a way. The difference is I come at things from the point of view as a professional magician. So I spend most of my time gigging at events. It's rare for me to perform socially, mainly because I'm performing so much professionally. I don't feel the need to perform socially. Well, a lot of the stuff that Andy talks about, he talks about performing socially. He talks about performing at, you know, he'll create tricks that literally could only be performed in one particular situation, and it can maybe only be done once in order to develop this incredible experience that nobody will ever be able to have again. And people ask me what I think of him, because there have been many, many times where he talks about me, probably because I normally, at least 3 times a year, will be involved in some sort of controversy, and he will be asked about what his opinion is on the latest controversy that I'm involved in. So during the Michael Webber stuff, he was talking about that. During the Tim Trono stuff, he was talking about that. During lots of times, he talks about what I do, which makes sense because that's what his blog's about. It's about talking about stuff that's happening in the community. A lot of people are asking what he thinks. What do I think of the Jerks? Because he's a very sarcastic guy. He can be very vicious. I love him. I'm telling you right now, I'm a big fan of that blog. I am a huge fan of that blog. I think he gives back a lot to the magic community. The thing that he did at Christmas last year was amazing. If you don't know, he got like some of the biggest creators in magic and got them all to release tricks through his blog throughout Christmas. It was brilliant, and I hope he does it again this year. His writing style is really engaging and interesting. He's really fun to read. His take is normally quite good. And, you know, I'm just a big fan. I'm a big fan. He's he's said on his blog in the past there's things that he doesn't like about me, or my tricks that I produce, and there's things that he does, and that's fair enough. That's the same with everybody. You can't like everything. It's impossible to like everything. One of my favourite magicians in the world is Jay Sankey, but there's many things I don't like about Jay Sankey. I remember when he was writing about Evoke, somebody asked him about Evoke shortly after Evoke came out, and he did a thing saying he liked it and blah 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 blah. And a few weeks later, he did this post where he took the because obviously, if you don't know what Evoke is, they're motivational posters, and each one of those motivational posters has a motivational quote based on the emotion on the card. So the love card has a motivational quote, and so do a lot of the other cards. I'm laughing thinking about this. If you haven't read this, go and read it. It's hilarious. He takes the cards and he breaks them down, and he talks about the quotes, and he talks about he categorizes them into various categories. And it is very, very true. Now, the thing is, you don't ever get into a situation with Evoke where people are reading every single individual quote. That's not happening. And to be honest, they rarely read the quote unless you tell them to read it because you're doing like a book test with one of the quotes. Outside of that, people don't even read the quotes. So it's totally not an issue, but 100% completely agree with him. There's this thing where he said, because obviously I've got celebrities in the quotes. Celebrity said this. It's like, if a celebrity said this, they will immediately get sent into rehab by their agent. It's hilarious. It's so funny. And I think, and he's right. And that's what I think he's got the ability to do. He's got the ability to make light of a situation, but do it without like really cutting people up. I'm a big fan. Like, I've learned so much from the jerks. So much. I've learned so much. I remember many years ago, before the whole idea of remote controlled lighting was as popular as it is now, he had this wonderful trick, and I remember raving about it to everybody, where he suggested that if you're out on a date with somebody and you're going back to your apartment, when you're out on the date, you draw what the apartment looks like, the layout of the apartment, and you get them to colour in various different rooms with different colours. And when they go back in and they walk into the apartment, the lights are on with those colours in the different rooms. And it was involving apps controlling lights in his house. Brilliant. I remember seeing that and thinking, if I'd seen that live, that would blow me away. His thinking is amazing. It really is. And I've learned so much. Even as a professional magician, I've learned so much. Like his way of doing the swindle switch, Paul Curry swindle switch, his way of doing it, small little 1 degree change, as John Gustafaro would say, of kind of out jogging and in jogging the cards that you split. Absolutely brilliant. That's how I do it. That's how I do it. And I speak to a lot of big name creators in this industry, a lot of people who are big in this industry, and everybody raves about him, his blog, his writing. So what do I think of him? He's brilliant. And I actually look forward to him slagging me off because he does it in such a funny way. He does it in a way where he's slagging you off, but you can't help but laugh about it. And it takes a real skilled writer to be able to do that, especially when I'm the subject matter. And I've got a reputation of seeing what people say about me and getting a bit wound up about it, but you'll never see me make a video about the man because I just think he's funny as fuck, frankly. But also at the same time, genius. Now, he is a genius. Genius is bandied around. I think I've read enough of his stuff to know that he's a bit of a genius. Yeah, I'm a big fan of the jerks. Excuse me, I think he's great. If you don't read his stuff, you should do. And long may it continue. So, for everybody that asked, I think he's great. Okay, so the final person that I'm going to be talking about today is good old JM, Justin Miller. The amount of people that have asked me recently about Justin Miller, mainly because he's been posting a lot on Facebook about giving up magic. He's been very vocal about the fact that he's leaving the magic community, turning his back on the magic community and not going to be releasing any product anymore. His final trick is on the 4th of December. And, a lot of people have been asking me what I think about that. And one specific thing that he put on Facebook, which about 10 people sent to me, if not more. So first of all, me and Justin have got a very interesting history. We have had a love-hate relationship through the years. It started off with it started off in a good way when we first met many years ago at a magic convention. And I was a big fan of his before meeting him. I've always studied everything that Justin's ever put out. And then when I was on the Wizard product review, we went back and forth. We had the magic off, Craig Petty versus Justin Miller. And then I grew up and he grew up, and although I started it all, I've got to be honest, it was me, completely me. I was a bit of a dick back then, still am now, but I was even more of a dick back then. And then the last 4 years, I've had a great relationship with Justin. So first of all, I want to preface this as saying that I think Justin is one of the greatest creators in the world today. I think that in 50, 60 years' time, when they look back at this era, they look back at the 90s, the 2000s, 2010s, 2020s, I think that Justin Miller will be at the same level as people like Di Vernon is now. When we look back at that era and we look at Di Vernon and we look at Ed Marlowe, I think that this era, you will not be able to talk about creativity and magic without talking about Justin Miller. I think that this is a man who has changed the game over and over and over again. He's a little bit like the Madonna of magic in that he's reinvented himself every couple of years. He reinvents himself. If you look at Justin Miller, when he first started, and then you look at the JM character that he became, and then you look at him on the Bold project, and you look at him, he's changed his persona many times and reinvented himself many times. There's techniques in magic that will be a staple of magicians for decades that he has created. Shadow lapping is something that everybody will look back on and go, how was that not done? It wasn't done because nobody's got Justin Miller's genius. And again, I was talking about Andy the Jerks, and I was talking about he's a genius. Justin is probably the biggest genius in magic. And if there was a Mount Rushmore of the magic world, he would take top spot in anything like coin magic, card magic, sleight of hand, mentalism. The list goes on and on and on. He's a creative genius. He can sit down there for God knows how long. He could sit down for an hour and come up with more tricks in 1 hour than most people could in their entire life. And I know he's a polarizing character, and I know some people love him and some people hate him, the same as me. And that's probably because you don't know him. I don't think anybody truly knows Justin. I don't know if I truly know Justin. I think I know him better than a lot of people, and we've had conversations, and he's had a very hard life. In many ways, but I don't think I truly know Justin, but I think I know him fairly well. But the thing is, regardless of whether you know him or not, the guy's a genius. Look at the stuff he's created. I don't think there's anybody else that's created more magic than Justin. Nobody else has done more coin magic. And the other thing is, and a lot of people don't see this, he's so giving. He's so giving. Like when there's twice. You look at the apparition coin set, it's a perfect example. When I found out that was something that Justin had done before, Justin was so nice about the whole thing, and he was like, well, let's work together on it, and let's do this, and let's do that, and let's do the other. Justin cares deeply about magic. Look at the stuff that he was doing with maps, Magicians Against Piracy. He made a difference. He made a huge difference. So why am I bringing up Justin? Because 10 people sent to me, probably more, sent to me a video, a screenshot of something he put on Facebook, which is, he was talking about people, creators in magic, that are exposing their magic tricks that they've created on social media. And he said, I'm not talking about one individual person, but it was fairly obvious that I was probably at the foot. Because when it comes to people doing that, I don't think there's anyone else doing it on a regular basis with every single product. I will release a product, and then within a week or two at the absolute most, I'll put a video up exposing how that trick's done. And I will do that again and again and again with every single trick. And people have said to me, oh, he won't do it with this, and then I have. Oh, he won't do it with this, and I have. The most recent one, oh, he's not going to do a video on Destiny Deal. Yeah, I am. I did. And I'm the only person that has done that, I believe. I don't think there's anybody else doing that. So when he talks about people doing that or creators doing that, it's obviously that I'm in the running in terms of, he might have seen somebody else do it, I don't know, but it's obvious that I'm going to be a big part of the people that he's thinking about when he says that. And he says, hey, they say that they say they're exposing their tricks online to be upfront and honest with the end user, but in reality, it's because they're trying to drive sales, because their sales figures have gone down, and it's a desperate attempt to try and get more sales, or something like that. Okay, I don't know, I'm paraphrasing, I can't remember. What do I think about that? Because in essence, he's turning around to me and saying, hey, Craig's exposing this trick because his sales figures are going down. All I can do is I can say is that's not the reason I'm doing it. Because frankly, my sales figures haven't gone down at all. In fact, if anything, every year since I've been back in this community, my sales figures have gone up. Case in point, my latest trick, Destiny Deal, I get to see the figures from Penguin Magic. Destiny Deal that came out, I don't know when it came out, probably 3 weeks ago now. Bearing in mind I've bought 11 things out through Penguin Magic over the last 4 years, Destiny Deal has shot straight to 4th place in 3 weeks. It has shifted over 1,000 units, well over 1,000 units. So it's not that my sales figures are going down. That is absolutely not the case. If anything, Infinity Deck, I think was which was the last thing I bought out through Murphy's, was my best selling trick of all time with Murphy's Magic. Other than the Quantum Deck, I think the Quantum Deck might have beaten it. I'm not too sure. The Svengali Deck project, which was I know Toys has come out, but it's only just come out, so I haven't seen the sales figures for that yet. But the Svengali Deck project, I think, has, out of all of the projects I've ever done, the Invisible Deck, Cheeky, Mirage, all of those different things, that's already become the best-selling product. So my products aren't selling less. If anything, as I've been, because obviously when I came back to this industry, a lot of people didn't know who I was. I had a lot of repair work to do on my reputation. And as I repaired my reputation and as I started creating stuff, more people found out about me, which shows with YouTube. I started off with 0. Now we've got almost 23,000 subscribers or something. So as more people find me, as more people know what I do, and as more people understand my theory and my understanding and my views on magic, there's more people that want to buy my stuff. And I'm very lucky in the fact that it's very... it always sells very well. But I think the reason it sells very well is because it's always worked in. As a reviewer in Magic, I see so many tricks coming out that haven't been worked in. They are just brain farts. They're the worst tricks I've ever seen. They've not been worked in at all, and you can just tell the person that has created them has never worked them in once in their entire life. My stuff is designed to be commercial. It's designed to work in the real world. And whether you can't love everything, and whether you love a trick that I've put out or you don't like a trick that I've put out, you can see that it's absolutely got merit and should be available because it's something different, it's something unique, and it's something that a lot of people will like. So, the reason that I expose my tricks is not because of my dwindling sales figures. It's because that I'm confident enough with my own material that I'm happy to put out to the world how it's done. Because the reason that that's not done, the reason a trick comes out and you don't get a video explaining how it all works, is because the person that's put that out or the company that's put that out is worried that if you know exactly how it works, you're not going to buy it. Magicians are secret collectors. They are people who like to buy tricks to learn the secret, right? And a lot of people, we've all done that. I've done it. I've bought a trick in the past just because I wanted to know how it works, and I've never done it. I'm not the sort of creator that's going to create a trick that's going to fool everybody. Sometimes it happens. Sometimes I've bought tricks out in the past that are very fooling. But my style and the material I bring out is really designed more for people to actually go and perform. It's not designed to fool magicians. It's why you'll never probably see me on Penn and Teller Foolers. My brain doesn't work that way. It's designed to be performed to real people, which is why there's normally multiple routines on there, because I've thought it through. I've worked it in the real world enough times that I know it's worked through. So I don't have a problem going through how these tricks work online. because I want people to understand what they involve. I want people to understand that actually this is a really commercial piece of magic, and if I buy it, I'll be able to do that as well. And also the fact that I'm fed up that the Magic Cafe will, on the latest and greatest forum within 2 weeks, explain how, or try to explain how tricks work, and they'll come up with some theory as to how it works, which is completely wrong. Which happened with Destiny Deal. You know, on the cafe, everybody was going, oh, it's just a double lift. Well, it's not actually, it's a gimmicked card that switches the thing for you. By me putting that video online, showing how that card works, the amount of comments that I got from people that were going, oh, I thought it was just a double lift. I read that on the cafe. Oh, I'm definitely buying it now. Like, that's the reason. I want people to understand how this works. Then you can make an informed decision. Now, if Justin feels that it's because of dwindling sales figures, that's his opinion. He's wrong. He's completely wrong. And if Justin wants to see my sales figures, I will happily show them how, if it was tracked on a graph, it would be like this. A little bit of a dip. Thank you, Lucky Lotto. But it would be like that, pretty much. And he's more than happy. I'm more than happy to share my sales figures with him if he wants to see them. But that doesn't make, people are like, are you angry about this? Does that make you pissed off about Justin? Are we going to have another Craig Petty, Justin Miller war? No, it's Justin's opinion. If that's his opinion, he's got every right to his opinion. He's wrong, but it's fine for him to have an opinion. I've got opinions on people. I've got opinions on things. It doesn't mean I'm going to respect Justin any less. It doesn't mean, I've said to Justin in the past, hey, you want to come on Magic TV? Ring me up. I will have you on there in a heartbeat. Nothing's changed. Justin's got an opinion. Now, if Justin was going online saying Craig Petty's a motherfucker and this and that, then we'd have an issue. But that's not the case. He's giving an opinion, and Justin's very, very passionate about magic. He's very, very passionate about exposure, and I know that him and I have got very differing opinions about exposure. I feel that some exposure is okay on YouTube, and I think that long-form videos, I think that's great. I think YouTube's like a library. I think it's helping more. We've been there. Justin doesn't think that. That's absolutely fine. Doesn't mean me and Justin can't get on. Doesn't mean next time I see Justin, I'm not going to have a beer with him. Doesn't mean I'm not going to call him up and say, hey, how you doing? Doesn't mean that this feud is suddenly going to start again. It just means that Justin's got an opinion on something. I've got a differing opinion. He thinks that, I've done this because of this. And I think, well, actually, I haven't. And I never would. But what's my opinion on Justin? I think he's a genius. And on this particular situation, he's completely wrong. Love you, Justin. So there you go. That's a bit of a different 5x5, and I'm currently in Blackpool. Ryland's performing here all this week, so I'm sitting in the kitchen filming this, and I have no idea how long I've been going. It's probably longer than 25 minutes, which is what a 5x5 should be, in which case, I'm very sorry. But hopefully this video was interesting. I'll be back in the studio next week, and we'll be having a proper 5x5. But thank you so much for watching. Don't forget, you want to see more videos like this, like the video, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment down below. I'll be back again soon. Thank you so much for watching. If you're in Blackpool, come along and see Ryland's show at the House of Secrets. Don't forget to join the Netrix, www.thenetrix.com. It's my online streaming platform for magicians. I'll see you again. My name's Craig, and this is Magic TV.